Hey guys, welcome back to Roll for Cake. No, I'm not wearing a shirt, and no, I won't put one on. Welcome to episode 2 for a cake I am personally very excited for. Not sure if you remember, but last week we rolled for a flourless almond cake with a berry German buttercream. I cannot wait for this, and hopefully this goes well. Now, flourless is more of a limitation than it is for a particular cake type. So a flourless almond cake kind of gives us like a few different options. Now, you can buy almond essence, much like vanilla essence, to flavor your baked goods with that, sweet nuttiness of almond. And who doesn't love a sweet nut? But I thought that was an easy way out. So I really wanted to create a recipe that really allowed the almonds to shine. Yeah, there will be times in this experimental baking journey where we will need to use essences and oils in order to flavor some of our combinations with certain things. But this time I really wanted to try and avoid that if we could, and try and find a way to use the almonds themselves to get that flavor. So with this in mind, I decided to replace the flour in like a typical sponge cake kind of recipe with almond meal or ground almonds. That way, we can really utilize the almond itself to try and create some of that almondy flavor. And by replacing flour in a sponge cakey kind of recipe with the almond meal, hopefully this helps to create a similar dense cakey-like texture, because we're making a buttercream at the end of the day, and buttercreams normally go with cakes, sponge cakes too. So this hopefully, by replacing that almond meal with flour, other way around, flour with almond meal, hopefully we get that textural combination still very similar to the way that it should be. Now, a standard American buttercream is normally icing sugar whipped into butter, so it creates a very, very sweet, creamy buttercream. And for those unaware, like me last week, a German buttercream doesn't use icing sugar whipped directly into the butter. It uses a custard-like patisserie cream, like something you'd find in an eclair. And that is then whipped into the butter itself. So this creates a far less sweet, but a much richer, silkier flavor. So hopefully that subtle sweetness of the almond and then the subtle sweetness of the buttercream should help complement each other and not have one flavor overpower another. Now, I did put it out to the audience about what berry I should use. I did get a lot of the common options, blueberry, strawberry, raspberry. I did get a mulberry. Shout out to Nick for that one. That was a cool suggestion. I did contemplate using mulberry quite a lot, but I thought I had a better idea in mind. Now, we're essentially making, because it's a flourless almond cake, a gluten-free almond cake, which is probably the most hipster words I think I've ever said. But I want more, and I thought we could do better. And at the end of the day, Roll for Cake is about making weird and wacky flavor combinations. So with that in mind, I decided and I settled on using acai berry. Acai? Yeah, acai berry, which can't get much more hipster than acai berry. Plus, acai almond is just fun to say, and who doesn't love a little bit of alliteration? Now, with all this in mind, let's bake this, shall we? Now, we should start with the cake, then the patisserie cream, and then the buttercream. The reason why we do this is the cake needs to cook and completely cool, and so does the patisserie cream. It needs to be cooked, and then needs to be set in the refrigerator and then be brought back to room temperature before it starts to fool around with the butter. Because if we're using hot cake, hot patisserie cream, and we mix them with the butter, it's going to make a terrible mess, which sometimes is a good thing, but in this case, when we're making a cake, we don't want that to happen. So we're going to go cake first, patisserie cream, buttercream. Let's do this. We'll start by preheating our oven to 160 degrees Celsius or 325 degrees Fahrenheit and line a 9-inch round pan with baking paper. But Christian, how do I line a round baking pan? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Thank you for my mate Joshua Weissman for teaching me this trick. We're essentially going to make a cartouche, which is a lid for when you don't have a lid. Grab our round baking pan, take a square of parchment paper, we're going to fold it into a triangle, and then into a triangle again, and again, and again. We're essentially going to make like a paper airplane. So triangle, triangle again. You know how you used to make paper airplanes back in primary school? Or now, if you're still enjoying life. triangle again, again. So we have sort of a spear. I'm going to grab a set of scissors, our baking pan, line that with the center, cut, and there should be left a nice round insert. Oh, fuck yeah, I nailed that. And that's how we line a round baking pan. Then, in a large bowl, we'll add 200 grams or 2 cups plus 6 tablespoons of almond meal or almond flour, 100 grams or 2/3 of a cup of icing or confectioner's sugar, 100 grams or half a cup of caster sugar, 1 large pinch of salt, and give that a quick whisk until combined. Then we'll add 2 large eggs, beaten, 113 grams or 1 stick of unsalted butter that has been melted and cooled slightly, and lastly 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of vanilla extract or essence. And mix these together until smooth. Now, it'll be a little thick, but like 2 C's thick, so don't worry. Scrape the batter into the pan and bake for 35 to 45 minutes or until the cake is golden brown and a cake tester comes out clean. Then, carefully turn the cake out onto a wire rack and allow it to cool completely. Now that we've finished with my nut, it's time to talk about my cream. Begin by adding 366 ml or 1.5 cups of full cream milk and 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of vanilla essence to a medium saucepan and cook over high heat, stirring often until it just starts to simmer, so a few little bubbles. Then remove from the heat. In a separate large bowl, add 122 ml or half a cup of full cream milk, 2 large egg yolks, 133 grams or 2/3 of a cup of granulated or caster sugar, and 1/4 of a cup or 30 grams of cornstarch. Now, while whisking vigorously to ensure the eggs are tempered and don't scramble, slowly pour the hot, milky goodness into our egg mixture. Once combined, we'll then return this mixture to the medium saucepan over high heat, whisking constantly until it thickens and becomes to a boil. Now, remove from the heat and pass through a strainer into a glass bowl and place cling film or Glad wrap directly onto the surface of the custard to avoid a skin from forming. Cool to room temperature and place in the refrigerator for a couple of hours to set. Once set, remove from the fridge and allow it to come to room temperature and whip by hand until smooth. Using a stand mixer or hand mixer, mix 454 grams or 2 cups of room temperature unsalted butter until light, pale, and fluffy. Then add 1 spoonful of the pastry cream at a time. Ensure well incorporated before adding more. Beat this mixture until smooth and fluffy. We are now going to add 1/4 of a cup or 60 grams of acai powder to this mixture in increments until completely homogeneous. Once done, I'd suggest a slight taste test. Add additional icing, acai powder, or sugar if desired. Now, I am very clearly an amateur baker, so these are not my recipes. I make small tweaks here and there to create our flavor combinations, but I'll post in the description below links to the original recipes so you can give those creators some love. And that way you can also follow the recipes that I've created as well to try and make your own. You can make the small tweaks that I've done. I've explained those in my video. That way you can help recreate exactly what we have here. If it's a good combination, it's actually something worth making, but I'll let you guys know. Okay, I'll be honest, decoration is not my strong suit, but I'll give this my best shot. So start with the frosting. Cake. And then something to frost it on. Now, I have made way too much of this frosting, like way too much buttercream. So I will need to figure out a way to use this excess. Hey, comment down below who would like to eat my cream. Actually, on second thoughts, no, keep that to yourselves. I'll find something else to do with this. All right, let's start. Now, here at Roll for Cake, we're all about creating wacky, weird, and wonderful flavor combinations. And I think I owe it to you, the viewers, to give you an in-depth, multi-categorical review of these cakes, talking about the taste, the textures, the flavors, and actually go over whether this combination is even worth making. So with that in mind, I don't have any more friends. You're all now just stuck with me. So it's time to plate, taste, rate, and score the flourless almond cake with a acai German buttercream. Okay, here you have it, a flourless almond cake with a acai German buttercream. This was actually really fun to make. The cake came out quite small. Obviously, there's no flour in it. There's no leaveners to try and give it that rise, so it ended up being quite a low, dense cake. We didn't go crazy with the buttercream because I don't think it's necessary. But I guess there's only really one thing left to do, and that is to try the cake. It's really moist. Oh my God. The buttercream is very subtle. You get this very subtle hint of acai. That cake is divine. It is gooey and nutty and almondy and oh my. I would like to be alone with the cake for a moment. Oh my God. Don't even worry about the buttercream. It is not necessary at all. That cake is phenomenal. I'm actually lost for words. It is so good. Yeah, get rid of the buttercream, not necessary. It's very subtle. It's not very sweet, so it's not overpowering. It does add a little bit of creaminess, so texture-wise. Oh my God. Yeah. Flavor. The flavor of the cake is amazing. You taste the almond. It's nutty. It's sweet. It has this depth of flavor to it. It is all-encompassing as a cake. It's all you need. You don't need anything else. You don't even need icing sugar on top. Just by itself, phenomenal. The buttercream, again, it's creamy, very subtle. It's not very sweet, so it doesn't combat the flavor of the almond. It just helps texturally. There is so much flavor in that almond cake. It is so good. So flavor combination wise, I don't think they go too well because the almond is just so great. It does not need anything else. But I guess the benefit of a German buttercream being not too sweet and being creamy is that it doesn't have a really strong flavor. So it really allows the almond to shine whilst just complementing texturally. So, okay, now it's time to actually rate the cake. So we're going to have three categories, which is the taste of the cake, the cohesion of the flavors, and then the cohesion of the textures as well. Flavor-wise, the almond cake is divine. It is chewy on the outside. It's gooey on the middle. It's sweet. It's nutty. It's amazing. The buttercream, it's not a very sweet buttercream, German buttercream. And the tartness of the acai with a not too sweet buttercream, I think they almost cancel each other out. You still left with that slight acai flavor, but when it comes to sweetness and taste, it doesn't really add a lot to the cake. So the almond cake I'd probably give like an 8 or a 9. It's amazing. But then the buttercream kind of knocks it down a point or two because this is about the flavor. So I'd probably put it at a 7. Texture-wise, the cake is, again, phenomenal. It has this chewy outside because it's not a big cake. So you have a lot of edges, and who doesn't like edges? So you get this chewy outside and then this dense inside, and then you get this creamy lightness from the buttercream on the outside. So as a texture combination, I'd probably put it at a 9. It's really, really good. And then flavor cohesion. And like I was saying before, the almond is amazing by itself. It doesn't need anything. But then you get this almost flavorless buttercream. So cohesion-wise, I don't think the flavors work that well, which kind of knocks the score down quite a bit. Like still really nice though, so I'd probably give it maybe a 5. Which overall, a really fantastic cake. Okay, overall that gives us a final score of 20 out of 30, which puts us at 6.6, so slightly higher than our matcha chiffon. Honestly, the almond cake is phenomenal. This score actually hurts me to put on there because of how good that cake is. And so the board builds. Overall, make the almond cake. It is so easy to do. Don't worry about the buttercream. It's a lot of effort, and I just don't think it goes well with this cake at all. If you're gluten intolerant, this cake's even better for you because it is flourless. That's the whole point. I'll put a link in the description below to show you the recipe. Easy to make and phenomenal. Make it. Okay, it is now time to roll for next week's cake. So we're umming and ahhing on how we're going to do this, but I think I'll just roll the dice in front of you and we'll just announce what comes out as the rolls come out. So we will start with cake type, 6, angel food, flavor, also a 6, pistachio, here we go, frosting type, 19, Swiss meringue, oh we got a lot of egg whites coming, and then flavor, 19 again, Nutella, here we go. Okay, we have rolled for next week's cake. I'm super hyped for this. We have a pistachio angel food cake. So angel food is like a chiffon without the egg yolks, so all egg whites, really light, really fluffy. And then we have a Nutella Swiss meringue buttercream, like a German buttercream, but with egg whites. So even lighter, even fluffier. And it's Nutella, so we have Nutella and pistachio, which sounds like a match made for heaven. And it's a light buttercream with a very light cake. So this should be a good combo, and I'm really excited to make it. Okay, that concludes episode 2 of Roll for Cake. Thank you so much for joining me. If there's any takeaways from this, make that almond cake. It is phenomenal. Again, don't worry about the buttercream. It's not necessary. That cake is great. Combination-wise, bit weird, but that's the whole point of this. And we found a new cake to make when you're bored. So tune in for next week, episode 3, which will be our pistachio angel food cake with a Nutella Swiss meringue buttercream.